Okay, so one of the most important things to remember is that you always want to protect your eyes while you're cutting glass. So you absolutely must wear safety goggles. It's the latest in fashion accessories, and it will prevent anything from flying in or around into your eyes. Even if you wear regular glasses, they are not protective enough because of the sides being open. Have to wear these. At the end of class, when we're done with cutting, again, safety first, please take one of the sanitizing wipes and wipe off the part that touched your face. It's the safety goggles. Okay, so the first two tools I'm going to talk about, we're going to use to cut our mirror tiles. Not our vitreous glass tiles, which are the colorful ones, but the ones that literally are a mirror. Hello, safety goggles on, as always. All right, so in order to cut the mirror tiles, we're not going to use the wheeled tile nippers. Instead, we're going to use a combination of two tools, which are called running pliers, and you can see this little line here that's going to be important, and the glass scoring tool, or the glass cutter. So say I wanted to keystone these squares of either size around this. That's something we're going to be doing. In order to do that, I'm going to obviously determine what the angle of my keystone cut will be, but then I'm going to make a score. And when you score, you want to go nice and even from the edge to the edge. And you can see I have this cutting mat underneath. That's really important. Keep the cutting mat underneath. I'm going to take this tiny little wheel and I'm going to apply even pressure in a nice little zip right across. And you can hear the little zip noise and you can see that faint line that I made. Do not go over this more than once. If you do, it's just going to break. Now I'm going to line up the little line on my running pliers, that's these with the plastics, with the score line that I created. And I'm just going to apply light pressure. And you should have heard it snap. And there we go. It's a nice, even cut. So I was able to cut off a triangle by scoring and snapping. Okay, so we said for our mirror tiles, we were going to use the glass scoring tool and the running pliers to score and snap the mirror tiles. But for the vitreous glass tiles, we're actually going to use wheeled glass nippers. It's going to be a little easier and faster. It's one step. So these are the wheeled glass nippers, and these wheels are what's going to do the cutting for us. What's going to happen is you're going to place your tile in between the two. They're springy, so you're going to have to press a little bit, and then when you snap, you're going to press all the way through. Your tile will snap, and it will be good to go. So if I wanted to cut this one, say I just want it to be a little smaller, I'm going to place it in between, and snap, and there it goes. If you notice, I kind of put my hand here to catch it from flying sideways. You can also cut in like a little box or in a paper bag if you feel like they're going to snap all over the place. You don't have to go straight through. You could also go side to side. So again, I can still cut a triangle. I'm just angling down a little bit so it snaps right there, and there we are. That's cutting the vitreous glass tiles with the wheeled glass nippers. I have two tools to make some spine adjustments to things. These, there's a couple of them, and we don't really want to use them for the glass because they'll kind of just crush the glass. But these are called tile nippers, and if you were going to use these, you'd mostly use them on like ceramic tile. But they will take off just little chunks of things. If you put the tile there and you just kind of nip away at the edge, and it will just kind of grind off a small amount. These are a little bit hard to use with this. So instead of using these, because this is the vitreous glass, instead what you can use is a file. And I have a couple different kinds of files. This one is round on one side. If you're trying to make a slightly rounded shape for some reason, it's flat on the other side. If you've got a rough edge that you want to smooth out, say it's got a little bit of a bump on it, you can just file that down so that we're not cutting ourselves, and it will be a lot smoother. Some files are bigger. This is a grinding stone. It's just a more hefty file basically. And you can hear it grinding down and smoothing out that edge. This one, again, if you go over it enough, it can actually change the shape, but primarily the files are for smoothing out. One final thing I want to talk about is cleaning up at the end. I would like you to make sure that you're always using the counter brush to sweep up any little tiny pieces of glass or even little dust pieces of glass. So if we look at this really carefully, there are actually tiny little shards as well as big pieces. Pieces that you can hold and possibly fit into a tiny crack. We're going to keep those. We're going to sort them by color. But little tiny shards, we don't want to leave them behind, because what will happen is it will somehow get onto someone's skin, make a little splinter, and they're very difficult to see. So there's one right there. It's a tiny little purple shard. It's hard to see, but that's what the counter brush is for. You can sweep up your space, and then at the end, put that in the trash, and then at the end, you can even do a quick spray and wipe down with a paper towel.